again, we're talking about Fethullah Gulen, the terrorist that is wanted by the Turkish government, which is located on Mount Eaton Road. Now I want to tell you a story about this. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that the people are not aware of. Okay? I sat there, I spoke to some of the neighbors. The cars go in, they go out. They go in, they go out. Then they pull in someone's driveway. They take off all their clothes. Then they put on their robe. Now listen, they take off all their clothes and they put on their robe. That's fine. But you know, you're looking out your window and you see this guy take off all his clothes and you put, you know, some, there's no rules for the police. You could call, there's no reason to call the police because the police don't care because they're afraid to lose their jobs and because Fethullah Gulen got the power. He's protected by the government, and it seems like no one cares about anything. Like I caught so many people over the years. Nobody cares. No one calls me back. It's like it's a joke. I mean, here we have a guy who can do whatever he wants. Did he get permits to do everything? Did he get a permit to build the house? Let's talk about, you want to talk about the lady that used to live across the street from Gulen? Let's talk about that. Now, around 11 o'clock, between 11 p.m. and 2 o'clock in the morning, used to have these trucks come in, and like with wood, and they would do a lot of their building, like build some of the houses or whatever they did construction at night. Now, why would you do this during the day? It's because they were doing something that was illegal. Now, this didn't come from me. This came from the neighbor that lived across the street. No, I'm telling you the truth. They don't want to talk about this. It's okay. See, this is the problem. Say you lived in Saylorsburg, okay, and you don't like Fethullah Gulen. Well, guess what? You're not getting a permit. No. Now, if you like Fethullah Gulen, you'll get a permit. Maybe if you want to build a pool. But if you go up against Fethullah Gulen, the people that work in the township will not like you. I'm telling you, this is all true. But they sweep it under the carpet. Just like I spoke at the Ross Township Municipal Building, I spoke about Fethullah Gulen. Half the things, the state police were even sitting in the back. Half the things I was saying was never printed in the documentation, which is supposed to be by law. Whatever I say should be documented. They took it out of context because the person that works for the township works for Gulen. And that came from the gentleman that was in the letter that wrote me a letter that worked in the camp. See, there was a gentleman, like say when you walk out of the camp, you're the supervisor. But when you walk into camp, you're the mayor. That means like if I walk in Gulen's camp, I'm the mayor. That means I do everything. I build the places. I do a lot of stuff. So, remember, this didn't come from me. This came from the neighbors that could testify in court. But nobody wants to talk about it. They sweep it under the carpet. Now, there was a situation, I think his name was Robert Amsterdam. He was the attorney that was hired by the Turkish government. They had to go to court last year, or it was this year, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Well, the judge is like this with Robert Casey. Robert Casey is like this with Obama. They're all tight. So, if you go to court, no matter if you're like guilty, you're not guilty because it's all corrupt. Like if I know you, you know me, it's all like the mafia. It's like one hand shakes the other hand. That's the problem with this country. It's not like years ago, we all work together. You do something wrong, you go to jail. No. Today, our government is so corrupt because Fethullah Gulen pays everybody off. Just like in Turkey. He controlled the police, he controlled his government, he controlled the media, and then eventually he's going to control the military and then do the coup, just like he did in Turkey. He's going to do it to the United States, and who knows what other country he has planned. So I'm asking Donald J. Trump, come January 20th, when you take office, this should be your number one priority. Because if you don't do anything and you let this man stay in this country will be upside down in the years ahead. And that's from the bottom of my heart, not just from me, it's from the neighbors and a lot of people that I know what goes on in that camp. Thank you, and have a good day.